everything on silent. All right, we are live. So I will get us started. Welcome, everyone. Give people a couple seconds to join in. All right, welcome. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to More Dreamin'. We have an excellent session for y'all today. My name is Tamara Boran. I'm from Sercante, and I'm really excited to be moderating this session for y'all today. But before we get started, a few things I want to cover. Yes, we will absolutely be recording all of these sessions, so no worries there. This event will be on demand after the event, and we'll also have a follow-up email with all the recordings as well. If you have a question, please post it in the Q&A or in the chat, and I'll move it over to the Q&A for you. And lastly, please feel free to use the chat. There's emojis, there's GIFs. We want to hear from you. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. I'd love to introduce you to our speaker today, Rodrigo Santander, who has an awesome session ready for us all about the art of listening, crafting impactful customer journeys in Marketing Cloud. So with that said, I will go ahead and let him take over.
Thank you very much, Tamara. How are you, everyone? So today we're going to be talking about the art of listening. But first, allow me to put on my detective cap on and start with Professor Ro and the art of listening. Today we're going to learn about how to craft impactful customer journeys in Marketing Cloud. And I want to thank all our incredible sponsors first, Sercante, Salesforce, Stencil. Let's speak a little about me first so you can all know who I am. I'm Rodrigo Santander. I'm from Mexico City. Right now, I'm a solution architect. I am a current marketing champion on Salesforce. I love being an email geek. I founded Friends of Email, which is a Mexican community to help all the Latin American people know more about email and Marketing Cloud. I love drawing and playing the ukulele. And I'm a super nerd and geek about all things of Marketing Cloud, as you can see on my 8 certifications. So I love Marketing Cloud. I love everything that has to do with it. And I've been learning more and more about it. And I've been working for over 10 to 15 clients on managed services and creating email design systems for them to help them succeed on their business objectives. Let's start with a little about the agenda. We're going to talk about the solution diagram, what is the skill set that you have to have being a solution architect, and all about the discovery phase. What questions do we need to ask in order to get all the information right? So a new case is open, and your job as a seasoned detective is to craft the intricate pathways of your customer journey. To track this challenge, you'll need to guide the Marketing Cloud and strategic knowledge to light your way. Your mission here is going to be to listen. You need to attune your senses. You're going to be interviewing your stakeholders. You're going to learn a lot about your clients. And in return, you're going to have all the required information for you to find a potential solution. Who's this really for? Well, if you're a solution architect, if you work currently for a partner, if you're part of a team, if you are a freelance consultant, or you work at the brand side on the marketing team, or you're in the session. I hope all this information is useful to you. Anyone who works in Marketing Cloud really can benefit from this session today. Let's start with how the diagram of the solution works. First, you have the skill set of your skill match of the solution architect, and then you have the design process. I like to think of the design process as a 3-step part. The first is the discovery, where you're going to be asking all the right questions to your client to understand what they need to do, why they need to do it, how they need to do it, and how are you going to build it. Then you go back and you analyze all that information. And then you go back to your client and you create a workshop to design how you're going to connect everything, how the journey is going to work, are you going to automate the information? And when you're completely ready to do it, you're going to build everything, you're going to activate everything, and you're going to be starting to optimize based on the data that you bring, right? So all this information is what's going to become the solution. In this session, we're going to be talking about the discovery phase. Let's start thinking about what the solution architect brings into the table. The first thing you need to have is the technical skills. All this marketing cloud knowledge, how everything works. You really need to have hands-on experience with the platform and with projects. I've known solution architects that don't really have never touched the interface, but the more you know about it, the more you know what breaks, the more you know what errors happen, the more you know how everything interacts with each other. You're gonna have enough information to create a better design solution. The next thing is all the consulting skills. I like to think of it as a Pokemon. No, in marketing, we have all these curious words, B2B, B2C, all this terminology that you need to understand in order to create and build a life cycle digital strategy. Well, let's talk about the funnel, the customer journey, life cycle, KPIs, everything you need in order to understand how you're going to build a solution and how your client matches their goals, how they understand their metrics. Everything builds into the solution. So you have the technical part, you have the consultant part, you match it all together, and you have a solution architect. Next is your unique background. What do you bring into the mix? I want to put an example about me. For 10 years, I was a creative director. I worked with UX, with UI. I worked a lot of things on branding side. So all of this helps me to put storytelling and creativity to deliver a holistic experience all together into the solutions I bring to the table for my clients. What do you bring to the table? It's pretty unique. I know a lot of people that always come from different parts of knowledge. So it's always very interesting to know how the leadership becomes into the solution. And last but not least, every detective needs to have a companion, right? You can do this all by yourself. So you need to gather a couple of people that know more about the solution, more about the technical part of the platform than you. Let's talk about a developer. Let's talk about a marketing cloud admin. Let's talk about project managers. The more focused people you have working on it, you're going to be able to focus more on what the questions are, on how to build a solution, and they're going to help you to make it a reality. Then it comes the discovery session. I like to do it like an hour and a half with my clients. But this session objective right now is to listen to your client, to understand their needs, to ask the right questions. And you can't leave that session without understanding clearly what's the problem to be solved. If you have questions in your head and you can't quite realize what you're going to be building, it's going to be very tough to start building something from scratch because you're going to be making a lot of suppositions. Okay, we're going to be talking about the goal, the audience, the service, the moment, the success metrics, and the tech stack. Let's look at some examples with the help of the professor. Here, our stakeholder says, Professor, I need your help. Our customers have stopped using our service. Our churn rate is over the clouds. That sounds like a tough problem, right? Just remember that there are no dumb questions. Nothing that you can ask is going to be dumb because you have to realize that you're not the client. You haven't been working with that project. You haven't been working with that service or that product for a long time, and your client has, and your stakeholder has. So ask everything you need in order to understand. It's all right to be the dumbest person in the room, but you need to ask it in order to have answers. Here we can see the professor saying, hey, why did they stop? Do you know the reasons? When did it happen? Tell me more about the churn rate. Are you expecting to change? You can see how you have a lot of hints from the things that your client is saying in order to get these questions right. So let's start with the goal and the problem. What kind of questions should we ask in order to understand what the goal of the client is with this solution? We can ask, what problem do you want to solve? What is your objective? Why do you want to solve it? That is always a very important thing because they're going to tell you, I want to make my clients do their first purchase. Yeah, but why? Are they taking a lot of time into the process of their first buy? Are they churning in the first 3 days? You need to understand that in order to make it right. What business goals are we tracking with the solution? Why is it happening right now? And why is that it hasn't happened before? And what is going to happen if you don't solve this on the short, on the mid, and on the long term? It's going to be very important to understand in what point of the process they are, so you can build a solution that works on that moment specifically. Okay, we can see here, hey, tell me what's the goal of the experiment, why do we want our customers to do? And the stakeholder says, we want to help our new customers make their first purchase. That's the first key point, after successfully creating their account on the next 15 days. So we have a main problem that we have to solve. And how are we going to build this goal? There's a very good framework to creating goals called SMART, which means be specific. It means you have to be very concrete, very simple about it. Next is measurable. How are you going to size the solution, this goal? Sorry. Next is attainable. Is it realistic? You have to put your feet on the ground in order to make it right. It has to be something possible for your client to create it. Next is relevant. Is this really aligned with our business goals? And lastly, is it time bound? When is it going to happen? So we can see an example right here. My client wants to decrease the churn rate from 36% to less than 30% on the next half of the year. Okay, so we can see exactly how. It's very specific. It has the 36 to the 30%, which is quite measurable. It's attainable because they're not saying they want a 0 or a 10% decrease, which will be cathartic for anyone. It's relevant because they have a metric that's very important to them, a main business goal, which is the churn rate that they have to down that percent. I don't know how to say it. It's time bound because they want to do it on the next of the half year. Okay, so it's going to be very important for you to understand that your goal has to be under this umbrella of the SMART positioning. Next comes the audience. To whom am I going to be working with this solution? Okay, what kind of questions can you ask them? Who is the target audience? There's this term called buyer persona, which is like the target demographic they're wanting to attack with this solution. What's the segmentation? Meaning, what kind of information do you have in order to create all these persona? What's the main pain of these people? I mean, a lot, perhaps they want to buy apparel, but they don't have an app, or they don't have a place in order to buy these things, and you want to help them get there. Tell me more about the demographics. What are the buying patterns? What are their interests? And why should they, in what moment should they get out of this solution? Let's imagine someone commits fraud in a financial service app, and you need to get them out of the journey the moment you catch that information, right? So we need to have all this data in order to create that persona. Let's see the example right here. Who should we send this promotion to, and what data do we have to create this segment? And our stakeholder says, right, we want our active users on Britain to receive it, especially the ones that have purchased our apple pies in the past 3 months. I can see how the transactional information from our client is already there as a key point. And please don't include people marked with gluten-free diet. Of course, we don't want them to receive food that they don't want or they can't eat. So that's going to be our exclusion data to help them not enter into this journey. Talking about segmentation, how do we create a right data governance for all our segmentations, right? What we need to understand here is, do we have the right information? Is it available on Marketing Cloud? Do we have to make another connection? We will talk about later on how to connect everything in order to obtain it. And that less can always be more, which sounds a little weird, but bear with me. Maybe you have a universe of 20 million people that are active users, but you have a promotion which is only relevant to the people who last bought an iPhone or something like that. And you want to target all those people specifically so that your promotion is a huge success. So less can be more in that target. What kind of information could we use? This is just an example, but perhaps I want to target someone who is in their 30s, which is based in Mexico City. Well, they can be male or non-binary. their lifestyle is adventurous, they have a product interest based on the transaction information, and that transactional information tells me that they can spend a lot more or a lot less. And depending on that, I can personalize the promotion that they're going to receive on the communications. Talking about the service and the product, what do we know about this product or this service? Please tell me more about it. I want to know if it's B2B or B2C. How do people use it, and why do people use it? What are the key features or benefits of this service or product? And what assets do we have available to community? So I want to take a little moment here. So the product is something that may be very big, maybe very small, but people are already using it and are already stopped using it, perhaps. So you need to understand how it works, what are the benefits, how does it, how is it relevant to other products that are like them, and to what audience is it going to, right? What assets do we have available to communicate? Perhaps your client already has white papers, webinars, brochures, something, videos, anything that you can use to curate that information and bring it into the table to recreate them or curate them into your solution can be very helpful, because a lot of these services may not be new, may have a lot of time already around, and you can bolster that information to create something better. So let's see what Professor has. Can you explain to me more about this app's key benefits? Do you target B2B or B2C audiences? And the client says, oh, we're definitely B2B. Our financing app specializes in helping CFOs to monitor their company's health. It's available on iOS and Android right now. So we can see that they're doing a service specialized to the finance people. They're going business to business. They are already on both iOS and Android, and they have a goal in mind. Okay, so that gives us a little more information about this product, that is already available and where it's available. And speaking of B2B or B2C, when I was talking about the Pokemon stuff, B2B is business to business, which means that a business is going to sell this service along to people who are specialized in selling to other companies. And B2C is going to be to the masses, right? Like, I don't know, I want to buy a Coca-Cola, I want to buy a smartphone, I want to buy something that is for my computer, then it's B2C. I'm a company and want to acquire a SaaS solution, I want to use something to build inside my company, then it's going to be B2B. But both of them are going to share a lot of information that's on the half of the screen, like the buying times. In B2B, the buying times are a lot longer. Decisions can take months. They can take half a year in order to people say, yeah, we're going to buy the solution. And in B2C, it's as simple and easy to go to the store, say, I want this Coke, I want this Fanta, I want something, and you take it, you buy it, and it took like what, 30 minutes, right? Or a lot less. Who is going to be influencing the solution, the decision? In B2B, you have the finance people, you have your CFO, you have CEO, you have the CMO. Depending on what is the solution that you want to buy, is going to be the people who help you influence that decision. In B2C, it can be your cousin, your friends, it can be a TikTok video influencing your decision, how the tone of the conversation is going to be working, what kind of channels can we use. Perhaps in B2B, LinkedIn is more worth it, and in B2C, we can use more TikTok or Facebook, and the kind of assets that we can use on each other is going to be quite different. Then let's talk about the moment. When do we need to activate? This is a moment of time, right? A moment of time, not just when you're going to activate this, but in the moment of your client. Are they on an education phase? Are they trying to acquire something? Are they already your clients and you want to help them not churn? Then you need to understand in what part of the customer journey they are in order to get this solution right. So you can ask something like, is it time sensitive? At what point in the customer's life cycle does the solution come in? If this is in a fixed point in time, is it going to be running always on, or is it triggered by an action? Perhaps I left an abandoned cart in an e-commerce, and I want that an email is sent to me or a WhatsApp is sent to me to remember me that I have to buy that, no, that I can buy that. So that's a trigger by an action thing. Maybe I have a coupon that is turned, and that's an always on solution, and we need to understand how it's going to work. So let's see what the professor says. We need to send this personalized push notification to customers the moment they enter your local stores. Do you have beacons in place? What technology are you going to be using in order to get this right? And how many stores will be active? You're trying to understand all the threats that are coming in those questions, and your client is going to help you understand it better, right? So it says, yes, professor, good catch. We're in the process of installing the hardware on 30 stores. That's 30 stores. They'll be ready to run next month, which gives us a whole month to craft all this solution and start working with it. Can we activate by then? And then you can create a roadmap. You can have a timeline and understand how it's going to be. Speaking about the customer journey, this is one of my favorite topics, but it has to be with in which moment in time is the customer related to knowing about your service, and if they already acquired it, and if they are loyal users of your service, or did they not like it. Okay, so it all starts with the moment they know about it, they are made aware that your service exists, they may have a problem that you can solve with your product, and you can start engaging with them. It can be on social media, it can be per email, it can be in a webinar, it can be on TikTok, it can be anywhere. And from there, you're going to help them understand more about your service to make them to take the decision into acquiring it, going into acquisition. That the left part that you see is how the funnel works, how a lot of people enter into this funnel, and part by part they are going a little smaller, and you get from, I don't know, from 30,000 people that saw your ad on Facebook, and only 100 are buying your service, and you have a conversion rate from the 30,000 to the 100. But that's a thing for another session, right? But how you're starting from the start of the customer journey, and you build around it, and once you once you become a client, then you need to have an onboarding on the service. You then start using it. You begin educating yourself on this product, maybe understanding that there are more products from this line or from this brand. Then you can cross or upsell, and how you help them be loyal to your brand and not churn around, right? So we can see a lot of examples right here. Maybe we can send webinar invitations on the engagement side. We can help them send them newsletters about promotions. To help them acquire the solution, we can book a demo. In the onboarding, we sell a welcome email. We do a product onboarding. If they leave the cart empty, we do the abandoned cart. Maybe we don't know enough information about our users, and we do a progressive profiling journey. What happens when they already did their first purchase and you want them to do their second purchase? What happens when people stop using your service or buying your product and they start to churn, and you have to make a retention journey or a win back journey, and you can even refer them. If there are very very good clients, you can make them refer to a friend, right? So the possibilities of a journey are limitless. You just need to understand in what moment your client is, and how you're going to be doing this segmentation in order to start prioritizing with your client which one of these journeys are going to be the best for them to succeed. Next come the success metrics. How are we going to be able to measure all the things that we are trying to do, right? How will we measure the outcome of the experiment? What will be the KPIs or the success metrics that we're going to need to be handling? And where can we listen to all this information? Let's see what the professor says. How does this align with your business objectives? And how can we measure its success? What do we listen? Good question. Our main goal is to migrate 80% of our analog users into our new digital service in the next Q. We can start seeing how the audience is kind of creating itself with this answer. And he says we can measure the conversion rate, how many active analog users download the app and make their first transaction. So it's not only about that they have to download the app, they also have to create their first transaction done. So you're not going to be marking a check until they do that first transaction on the app. So you know that when they download the app, you need to keep going on that journey until they do that first transaction. And talking about success metrics, do you remember the goals that we talked a little earlier? This is how we're going to be measuring them. Every team has different business units or different areas, and each one of them has a different success metrics. How are they going to be measuring it? You need to understand those metrics in order to succeed with each one of them. So it all starts with the business goal, with the North Star metric, for example. What do they want to achieve? Then that North Star metric has a KPI, which is this information that is going to be coming up or coming down or being a number that needs to be longer or needs to be shorter. And how are you going to be tracking that? So this solution needs to understand that goal and that metric in order to get it right. If you don't have this information, you can keep going because you're going to be assumption you're going to be doing assumptions at best, um, and you may be throwing rocks at the water, but you need to understand all this in order to create a solution. Next comes the tech stack. We already talked about the audience, the segmentation, but where is that information going to be coming from in Marketing Cloud? What could we be asking? Maybe what is the technology stack at our disposal to design the solution? Where can we listen for this information? Maybe it's not already connected to Marketing Cloud. Maybe it's in a silo somewhere else. How often is this information updated? Maybe the transactional data is updated daily on a data lake, but you need to bring it to Marketing Cloud, and it is to come from an API to do it near real time, or you can do it from an ETL. So you need to understand all this data and what channels do we have available to communicate to the target customer. Maybe in that instance you have WhatsApp, maybe you have an application and you need to have the SDK configured. Maybe you have only email or SMS to work. You need to understand all the kind of assets that are going to be available in order to craft this solution. So where can I learn this information? Is it connected to Marketing Cloud? And what the client says, it all lives in a in-house CDP. That's a good thing. Let me ask my IT team for documentation so your team can get to work because we haven't connected it to Marketing Cloud yet. So that implementation is going to have to be the first step in your solution in order to get it into Marketing Cloud. How do we see this tech stack on Marketing Cloud? We have all these studios: Email Studio, Web Studio, Mobile Studio, Advertising Studio, and vertically we have Contact Builder, which help us create all the data models. We have Content Builder, where all our assets live, be it email, images for the web, content blogs, SMS, push notifications, WhatsApp. We have Journey Builder, which helps us create these solutions inside a journey, and all the information is brought inside data extensions that are tables. But the very important thing to understand here is from where is this information going to be flowing into Marketing Cloud? Is it connected through Sales Cloud, through Marketing Cloud Connect? Is it coming via ETL by the Marketing Cloud Salesforce FTP? SFTP, sorry. Is it going to be connected through API or a webhook? And do you have the correct information in order to create that connection? Is it coming from Data Studio? Is it a segmentation done in Data Studio? Or is it another CDP? Or is it coming from a data lake or from a warehouse? And you need to understand all this because your client is going to have different IT people or different implementators or partners for each and every one of those. And how is the connection going to work? How long time do you need in order to create that connection? And if you don't have any of that, how are you going to be building this segmentation inside of Marketing Cloud? So once you have all this information, as you can see here, it's time to map your case to find the solution, right? So you went, you listen, you brought the goal, you brought the audience, you brought the moment, you brought the tech information. Now it's time to create the brief. This brief is your turn to connect the dots and design all these connections in order to create the automations, the journeys, the sense, everything that's going to come together in your solution in order for you to solve your customer's riddle, right? Let's see an example of the brief right here. Maybe we have a goal, which is to decrease the churn rate from 36 to less than 30% on the next half, which we saw as an example earlier. We have an audience who are users with more than 36 days without a single transaction, which makes them people who are churning. Our product is a retail app. We know we can use mobile push, we can use in-apps, we can use SMS, we can use WhatsApp to help them enter into the app. The moment is inside the customer journey is on the retention side. The success metric is going to be a less percent of inactive users. We want to have, if maybe we had 8 million people who are churning from 36 days to 60 days, and we have to bring it back to, I don't know, uh, 5 million people. And the tech stack we have for this solution is the CDP and the Data Studio from Marketing Cloud. We have the SDK connected for iOS and Android. And of course, we have Marketing Cloud. So all this information is giving us a lot of things that we didn't have before the discovery phase in order to go sit and now create a solution. Now is the time to go and draw this journey and draw this automation and start thinking how you're going to bring that information into Marketing Cloud, what kind of documentation you need in order to connect that data lake or that other connection that you need, and how you're going to build the automations and the queries in order to create that segmentation so that it can start running. Never before, because you didn't have the information enough to create it. But I expect you to understand that all these questions are key aspects into knowing all the key features that you need in order to create a solution. I want to end everything just talking about the happy path and the real path, because when we create a solution and you're with your client, you say, yeah. The client is going to enter the app, she's going to see the promotion, she's going to click on it, and they're going to buy. And that's a happy path, and it's great, it's amazing. I hope everyone does it, but in reality, it doesn't happen. Maybe the client saw the push notification, enter the app, but in that moment, his wife called him, her daughters called her, and they did other stuff. Maybe they were putting attention on it, they liked the promotion, but in that moment, it wasn't perfect for them. And maybe in your journey, you never thought about that. And these people are going to be getting away of your solution. So we need to create a chaotic experience where we expect the best and the worst of the people that are going to be sending them. So you can do, hey, maybe they didn't open my email and I use an engagement split. Maybe I put a decision split to see if the people fill the form. Maybe I wait to see if they understood the information and they took a different decision, if they took the call from the salesperson. If not, you can expect them to do other stuff and have that brought into your solution to create a real path, right? It's never the client's fault, not really. In life, we have many distractions, messages that want our attention, activities that we have to prioritize, and we can't expect them to always do the best thing in that moment. So you already solved the case, you made the right questions, you have a clear goal, you got the right data, and you unlocked the art of listening as part of your skill set, and you're ready to design your solution. I wish you very good luck and success with your case, and I hope all this information has been very useful to you. I want to thank you all. Let's connect. I'll be happy to talk. My Twitter, which is now X, is right here. My LinkedIn is also right here. I hope we can all connect and speak a little more about it. And I want to thank also all the people of Cercante for letting me be on a little here on this part. So I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Let's see. Hello.
Hello,
All
Tamara.
right. Hey guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. That was excellent, by the way. I feel like I was taking notes the whole time. So lovely. All right. Okay, give another minute. In that case, all right. I want to ask so many questions, but I will leave it to everyone else. With that, we'll go ahead and conclude today's session today. Again, thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions for our speaker today, you can always reach out via the event chat. We have the LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that is available to y'all. Thank you again for joining us all. And thank you to our sponsors for helping to make more Dreamin' happen. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.